Alright, what's up everybody? It's your boy Akeem and welcome to today's vlog. Here to continue things with week 4 of the 2014 college football season. Here to give you Saturday's key matches and my predictions. Starting with the great game between Bowling Green and Wisconsin. Now, the reason why I had to call out this game because both these two teams have two great running backs. Travis Green from Bowling Green as well as Melvin Gordon for Wisconsin. Both these two players rush over 5.5 yards per carry. And I think this is going to be a great duel. But due to the fact that if you look at the defensive numbers, Bowling Green actually allows 36 points per game compared to 15.5 for Wisconsin. I have to go with the Badgers in this game. Next game, an ACC showdown between Georgia Tech at Blacksburg to face the Hokies of Virginia Tech. Now, Virginia Tech lost last week to East Carolina due to the aerial attack from the Pirates' passing game and star quarterback Shane Carter. Now, Georgia Tech, they started off their season 3-0 and in the 13th ranked team running the football with 330 yards per game. This is going to be a good game for you guys, and I believe that the Hokies should pull off the victor. I do not believe they're going to have back-to-back consecutive losses at home. I think the Hokies are going to focus more on stopping the ground attack for Georgia Tech and force more Georgia Tech to have to do the air as opposed to the ground. I have to go with the Hokies in this matchup. Next game, an upset alert. Florida's going to be traveling to Tuscaloosa to face the number 3 Crimson Tide of Alabama. Now, Tide quarterback Blake Sims has solidified the starting position for the Crimson Tide due to his great leadership, according to Nick Saban, and his great decision-making throwing the football as well as sometimes taking charge and running the football, and then he's actually shown a good dual threat at the quarterback position for the Crimson Tide, a hard worker and a great leader for that offense. Now for this game, this could be an upset, but Florida struggled last week against Kentucky. They pulled off a triple overtime victory against the Wildcats. Now Alabama has a much tougher defense than Kentucky, and I think that Alabama's going to pull off the home victory. Next game, another upset alert. Virginia is going to be traveling to BYU to face the number 21 Cougars. Now BYU is looking to break things off and make it to the college football playoff comes towards the end of the season if they just stay undefeated, and they played a great game last week against Houston. They pulled off a 33-25 victory and crushed my Longhorns. They're looking to stay undefeated and make that roster spot a spot for the playoff at the end of the season. Now for UVA, they pulled off a good victory last game against Louisville, and they played hard against UCLA, losing 28-20. So this team is actually going to show up in this matchup. But BYU quarterback Tyson Hill, I think he's going to lead this team to another victory, remaining undefeated. So I have to go with BYU in this matchup. Next game, East Carolina is going to be hosting North Carolina. Now I mentioned earlier that East Carolina upset Virginia Tech at Blacksburg, and now they're back at home to face the NC Tar Heels, and I think they're going to pull off another good victory. Shane Carter is definitely raising his draft status for the 2015 NFL Draft. Next game we need to talk about, number 18 Missouri is going to be hosting Indiana. Now quarterback Matty Mock has passed for over 600 yards plus 12 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, and he's relying a lot on receivers Bud Sacer and Darius Williams at the receiver position. And then for Indiana, they have a star running back in Tevin Coleman, rushed for over 400 yards, 9.3 yards per carry. That is an excellent yards per carry. He's going to be a key factor, an X factor for this game in order for the Hoosiers to pull off the upset against the mighty Tigers. But I have to go with Missouri in this game. Missouri could be a sleeper for the SEC championship come towards the end of the year. Next game, Mississippi State is going to be traveling to the Bayou to face the number 8 LSU Tigers. And this game I'm calling out as my upset game of the week. Now LSU has a tough defense, allowing 11 points per game, and I do believe they have one of the best offensive lines in college football. But I kind of have a little bit of faith in quarterback Dak Prescott. He's actually an underrated dual threat quarterback. He's actually second in the team running the football, and he's doing a pretty good job throwing the football at that. Now he's going to have to be a hero in this matchup, and I think he has a chance of doing so. And I think between out of all the upset alerts for this week, I think that LSU is the most vulnerable to have an upset because we've seen it happen time and time again. Now, on the defensive side, Derek McKinney, he's going to have to be a freak in this matchup. 2 weeks ago, he did post 12 tackles, and he's going to have to be all over the field and attack on that line of scrimmage. And hopefully, he's going to be a major factor in stopping LSU's ground attack, McKinley Hilliard and Leonard Fournette. So I'm going to have to go with Mississippi State with an upset over LSU traveling to the Bayou. Next game we need to talk about, another upset alert. Number 4, OU, Oklahoma, is going to be traveling to West Virginia to face the Mountaineers. Now, I really starting to like quarterback Clint Trickett out of West Virginia. He's actually kind of raising my draft status for the 2015 NFL draft. He might even crack my top 20 due to his play. 1,224 yards passing so far this year, 7 touchdowns and just 1 interception. And he kind of exposed that Alabama defense in week 1. Passed for 365 yards and only 1 touchdown, and he's been showing a little bit more promise. And then and also due to the fact that West Virginia has the home field advantage, they might be able to pull off this upset. But wait just 1 second, I'm gonna have to go with the Sooners in this matchup. Their defense is allowing 11 points per game, and I think because of that defense, and I believe they have OU has a better offense than Alabama overall, I have to go with OU in this matchup. But a quick injury report: OU is gonna have to play without their leading rusher and sophomore Keith Ford. He suffered a slight fracture on his foot, so he's going to be missing for the next upcoming weeks in college football. And this is a tough loss for OU, but Travis Knight will get the job done on throwing the football. I think they're going to do just enough to beat West Virginia in the Big 12 matchup. Next game, the other nominee for my game of the week, number 22, Clemson is going to be traveling to Tallahassee to face the Florida State Seminoles, number 1 in the country. Now, we all know about the most updated news in college football and quarterback Jameis Winston, last season's Heisman Trophy winner. Now, he's going to be suspended for the first half of this game because he shouted out an obscene sexual gesture on campus during this past week, and he's going to be suspended for the first half of this game. And I think this could be a tough break for Florida State, and this could be an opportunity for Clemson to take advantage of them. Now, for Florida State, they're going to have to start with quarterback Sean McGuire, and I think he has enough weapons offensively to help him as a good supporting cast with Carlos Williams running the football and Rashad Green and Nick O'Leary receiving the football for McGuire. And I think they have a very experienced and authentic offensive line for FSU. I think that McGuire's going to be just fine in the first half, and then Jameis Winston's going to have to take over in the second half and sprouse up on the Florida State offense and pull off a good victory. But I decided to not go with an upset with this one. I'm going to have to go with Florida State in this game. And speaking of Jameis Winston, I'm going to give you a second video talking about his NFL draft status later on today. Next game I have to talk about, Miami's going to be traveling to Lincoln to face Nebraska Cornhuskers, who's ranked 24th. Now, both these two teams is trying to get back to the glory days back in the 90s, and Bo Pelini is somewhat in a hot seat at head coach for Nebraska. Now, they are hosting Miami. They do have the home field advantage, and I will have to go with Nebraska in this one, only because Miami has a young quarterback and quarterback, I'm so sorry for the hold up. Brad Kaye, he's a freshman quarterback, a true freshman quarterback. 7 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. A little bit very inexperienced, but he still shows great maturity. But I don't think it's going to be enough to beat that black shirt defense for Nebraska. So I have to go with the Cornhuskers over the Hurricanes in this matchup. Next 2 games is going to be Pac-12 matchups, starting with the Cal-Arizona game. California is going to be traveling to Arizona to face the Wildcats. Now, quarterback Jared Goff for the Cal Bears, he's shown some improvement this season, passed for over 500 yards, and he's shown better ball security, and as compared to 18 touchdowns last season and 10 interceptions. This year, he only passed for 1 interception so far this year, so he's shown a better decision making and throwing the football. Now, for Arizona, they have a couple of young stars as freshman and sophomore on the offensive side, starting with star quarterback Anu Salomon. He's passed for 934 yards, 8 touchdowns, and just 1 interception. And he has a good freshman run back behind him, and Nick Wilson leading the team in rushing. And at the receiver position, they have a good sophomore receiver and Caleb Jones at receiver, the leading receiver for the Wildcats. And I think because of their young, talented team and the home field advantage, I think that they're going to beat Cal in this matchup. So I'm going to have to go with Arizona in this game. And last but not least, Washington State is hosting number 2 Oregon. Now, Coach Mike Leach is looking to save his job and pull off an upset, but I highly doubt that because of the explosive offense from Oregon and star quarterback in Marcus Mariota. They're looking to stay undefeated and make it to the playoffs at the end of the season. So this is going to be an easy pick for me. Oregon in this matchup over Washington State, but this could be an upset alert because Washington does have a good quarterback in Connor Holiday, but I still think that Mariota is going to get the job done and score a lot of huge points at Washington State. So I have to go with Oregon in this matchup. Now, the next time I'm going to catch you guys will be on Monday, where I will give you a recap of week 4 of this season. Thank you for watching today's blog. From the Football Source, I'm your man, Akeem McCall. Be easy.